กำลังเกิดความหวังว่าน่าจะได้เห็นสันติภาพเกิดขึ้นนะคะหลังจากที่อิสราเอลและกลุ่มติดอาวุธฮามาสได้หยุดยิงยังไม่แน่ใจว่าจะหยุดยิงกันเป็นการชั่วคราวหรือเป็นการถาวรนะคะต้องรอโอกาสในการพูดคุยหารือโดยที่อียิปต์จะเป็นคนกลางในการพูดคุยขณะนี้ปัญหาที่เกิดขึ้นก็คือการสู้รบต่อเนื่องมายาวนานถึง50วันมี2ฝ่ายที่ต้องเผชิญกับความสูญเสียปาเลสไตน์มีผู้เสียชีวิตไปกว่า 2,100 คนอิสราเอลมีทั้งพลเรือนมีทั้งทหารที่เสียชีวิตไปประมาณ70คนนะคะความสูญเสียที่เกิดขึ้นจะนำไปสู่การพูดคุยสร้างสันติภาพได้หรือไม่อุปสรรคขวากหนามจะอยู่ตรงไหนวันนี้ท่านปลัดกระทรวงการต่างประเทศของประเทศอิสราเอลมาเยือนประเทศไทยนะคะคุณนิซิมเบนชิตริตค่ะวันนี้ดิฉันคุยกับปลัดกระทรวงการต่างประเทศอิสราเอลค่ะ Thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me.
What's the situation in Israel at the moment? It must be rather quiet.
It is quiet. We are in the middle of a ceasefire, which was achieved by the Egyptians between the two parties. And now we're waiting for another period of time in order to launch new discussions between the two parties in order to achieve a settlement between the two parties.
What's the possibility that the ceasefire can be permanent?
Well, I hope the ceasefire will be permanent. I hate to see another cycle of violence in our region. We didn't start this violence, as you know. Hamas started this violence by launching rockets on the Israeli civilians. And I hope that this is the last cycle of violence in our region because we would like peace and quiet in our region. We hate to see people getting killed. We hate to see people, especially civilians, and especially children and elder people, to injure and get killed. And I believe that both sides would like to see a different approach toward this situation. I hope that we see a permanent ceasefire in our region.
It has taken for 50 days the fighting between two sides before you have come to reach this point of having ceasefire, which is still very open-ended. What's the risk that the ceasefire or the truce could have come to an end?
Well, it is 50 days more than we expect, and I hate to see that it is 50 days in order to achieve another ceasefire. This is wrong. I hope and I wish that it wouldn't start at all, but 50 days is not because of us. 50 days it is because Hamas didn't want to stop the atrocities against the civilians in Israel. And the possibility that we'll see another round is unacceptable. And I hope that they will get some sense in order to achieve and accept a ceasefire, permanent ceasefire, for the benefit, first of all, of the people of Gaza who are suffering from this kind of atrocities.
You see the risk will come from Palestinian side, not from Israeli side?
Well, the risk is, of course, they are taking risks and jeopardize the normal life of the people of Gaza. And if they will stop this, the equation is very simple. We would like to see peace and quiet in our region. If they will not fire, we will not fire. We are, the obligation of the state of Israel is to protect their citizens. If their citizens are attacked by any entity, we have to respond. If they will not attack the state of Israel and the people of Israel, we don't have to respond at all. And they can live in peace and quiet.
But having seen the fighting went on for quite some time and seeing airstrike from Israeli side to Gaza and Gaza firing rockets in return, the level of retaliation against each other seems so much different because if Israelis have airstrike, but Hamas have rocket, it's so much different in terms of loss of life.
Well, as I said, the equation is very simple. They don't have to fire even one rocket, and we will not strike even in one airplane. This is very simple. Don't attack us, and we will not attack you. We have to respond in order to stop them from attacking us.
What do you think you have to be prepared in order to talk in details while having Egypt as the mediator between Palestinians and Israelis?
The equation is very simple. We are ready to rebuild Gaza, I mean the international community with the help of Israel, in order to achieve disarmament in Gaza, and this is very simple. They don't need rockets, they don't need anything, they need developments. And in order to get developments in Gaza, we need disarmament dismilitarized in Gaza. They don't need anything. We disengage from Gaza. They are living and they are controlling their lives in Gaza, and they could flourish Gaza to be another Singapore in the region. And instead, they are attacking Israel. They are launching rockets, and they are arming themselves, and instead of taking care of the citizens of Gaza. So I believe they should change the approach toward the people of Gaza and to try to develop this piece of land for the benefit of the people.
What about your policy in considering their demand that they would like Israel government to lift up blockade of Gaza?
We are ready to do so.
But just part of it, not all that.
I'm telling you, we are ready to do so if Hamas will stop attacking us, if Hamas will recognize Israel, and if Hamas will accept previous agreements between the Palestinians and Israel. So far, Hamas rejected these three principles of the quartet. And I believe that these very simple three principles will bring a different life to the people of Gaza.
What's the compromising point for truce, the current truce?
I mean, compromising and stop attacking us, first of all. Stop attacking us. We hate to see people get killed and injured. And this is the first compromising. The second compromising is please recognize the existence of the State of Israel. The State of Israel is there to stay. And I believe that they should recognize the State of Israel as a Jewish state. And third, stop terrorist attacks on the State of Israel. This is very simple. And if they will recognize all these principles, the security of Israel, the idea that we should live next to the other, I believe this is a compromise.
Does Israeli government accept two-state solution, which is proposed by UN, and the UN has endorsed Palestinian as a state before? Do you accept that?
Definitely will accept two-state solution. Our Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared it already a few years ago, and we are ready to discuss a Palestinian state living next to the State of Israel. Of course, we need some principles that should be made before we establish a Palestinian state. Among them, security of the State of Israel, because we hate to see a different Gaza in the other side of Israel in the West Bank. And I hope that the Palestinians will get some sense in order to accept these kind of principles, among other things, among other core issues that we should discuss in details. And we are ready to sit down around the table and discuss all those details.
So the first proposal is to accept two-state solution.
Yes.
Is that different from accepting Palestinian or Palestine as a state?
No, this is not different. We are accepting next to us a Palestinian state.
On the other hand, after reaching compromising point for truce this time, but Israel has announced land appropriation in the West Bank and eastern part of Jerusalem, and that's provoked anger and against feeling among Palestinians again.
Let me correct you. We didn't announce new settlements. All what we do now is a survey of land, which are doing on a daily basis around this area. But let me tell you, we knew how to disengage from settlements. We did it before, and we can do it again. In order to stop the settlements, in order to discuss a serious agreement between the two parties, we should sit down and discuss it. Because we proved that we can disengage from settlements, We did it in Gaza. As you know, we relocated 8,000 Israelis from their homes, their families, their businesses, and we disengaged from Gaza and see what happened in Gaza. In order to have peace and quiet between Gazans and the Israelis, we had a launching pad for rockets from those areas that we disengaged from. So we would like to see some security measures and some other measures in order to accept to get a permanent settlement with the Palestinians.
How do you feel when you see so many loss of life?
I hate to see that. I hate to see that. This is not our nature. Our nature is to live peace and quiet with our neighbors. We are sorry for any citizen and any civilian who got killed, but they left us no choice because they are using those citizens as a human shields, and they are forcing those citizens to protect the people of Hamas while they are attacking the people of Israel. And sometimes, because of collateral damage, unfortunately, some citizens are getting killed. To stop this, there is only one way: stop attacking the state of Israel.
But Israel has been criticized of using indiscriminate attack in Gaza as well, and the loss of life is so incomparable.
I don't think it is discriminate attack because we are the most human army in the world, and we are trying time and again to prevent civilian attacks.
Has Israel come this far because you have backup by the U.S. government?
Well, this is not only the U.S. government, this is the whole international community. As you see, 50 days we got a legitimate time in order to protect the people of Israel, because they knew this is enough, and we have to stop this kind of terrorist acts against the state of Israel. They found a way how to attack about 5 million people in Israel and sending them to shelters. And we have to stop this. So we get legitimacy from the international community, as you see, for 50 days.
But this fighting could have been different from 2012, the latest fighting before this round. The sentiment, international sentiment toward in social media is so much different. And people create hashtag Arabs and Jews are not enemies. Have you heard of that?
Arab and Jews are not enemies. I came from Arab country as a child. My family lived in Arab country, and we had a very good neighborhood between Arabs and Jews. We are not talking about Arab and Jews as a whole. We are talking about some terrorist organizations like Hamas, like Hezbollah, who are their ideology is to destroy Israel. This is relatively small groups which are trying to attack Israel on a daily basis, and they are trying to eliminate the state of Israel from existence. So this is the problem. And we are talking about some elements, radical elements, extremist elements in the region which are aiming to attack Israel and to destroy Israel. We are not talking about the Muslim world and the Arab world as a whole. There are some moderate Arabs and there are some extremist Arabs, and we have to make the difference between these two groups.
But clearly international sentiment are quite concerned with the war or the fighting which went on, and people really want to see it come to an end when they see so much people were killed.
Well, I would like to refer you to some other areas in the Middle East which Israel is not involved. For instance, Syria, Iraq, ISIS. See what is happening in the Middle East. This is not because of Israel. This is because of the Arabs. Or some Arab groups who having extreme ideology which bring them to this kind of atrocities. And I think that this is a nature of some groups, that they would like to create a chaos in the Middle East. It is a very tough neighborhood. And let me tell you, the Middle East is not the Far East, and you have to understand that we are living in a very different and dangerous area as the Middle East, and some elements trying to create a different atmosphere in the Middle East. And you can see on a daily basis what they are doing in Iraq, in Kurdistan, in Syria, in Lebanon. This is a kind of neighborhood which are living in, and we have to think differently.
Yes, seeing ISIL are expanding their forces in Syria, in Iraq. What's your concern?
This is not my concern. This is the international community concern. This is a wake-up call for the whole world, because ISIS will not stop in Iraq or Syria. ISIS, if they could, they will expand their activities all over the world, and they meant to do so. So I'm calling to the international community to take it very seriously and to get a concern about what is going to happen if the international community will not stop this phenomenon.
By stopping this phenomenon, what do you mean by fighting with them, attacking them back?
There are so many means to stop this phenomenon. First of all, you have to stop the flow of the money, which are coming from some different countries. And they have to understand that they are the next. And ISIS will not stop if they could. And as you see, they are very determined to spread around all over the Middle East, let alone Europe in the near future. So when some people from Europe who came to fight with ISIS in the Middle East will go back to their countries, I think they should take some measures against those people. And this is not only fighting them by fire, you can fight them by many other means in order to stop them.
How do you evaluate the situation of ISIS is expanding its forces? Are they going to join hands with Al-Qaeda? And Al-Qaeda seems expanding as well. They said they're going to build up their base in India.
You see what part of the Arab world are exporting. They are exporting terror. There is Al-Qaeda, there is ISIS, there is Jabhat al-Nusra, there is so many groups, and nobody knows who is fighting against whom. And this is the situation in the Middle East. So I'm not sure Al-Qaeda will fight with ISIS, because ISIS is much more extremist than Al-Qaeda nowadays. But you know, you can never know which group will come after ISIS if ISIS will be stopped. Al-Qaeda is still active in some countries, but it goes to everywhere. It goes to Africa, Boko Haram in Africa. It goes to Egypt in Sinai Peninsula. It goes to Syria. It goes to Lebanon, Hezbollah. It goes to the Gaza Strip with Hamas. So this kind of groups should be stopped. And the international community should understand that if they will not be stopped, it will come to them someday.
What about this region, Asia-Pacific region, ASEAN?
I'm not excluded this region as well, because you know, we saw some terrorist activities here also in Thailand, and if you tolerate this kind of activities, it will come time and again, and you have to understand that it will not be stopped, because terrorist activities are different. This is not a government activities, and they can do whatever they want. So I believe that Thailand, as many other countries in the region, should think differently and take a different approach in order to fight this kind of terrorism, because it will never stop.
Have you shared any internal information or inside information about the south of Thailand?
Not as far as I know, the south of Thailand. This is your concern, and you have to take care. And I'm sure that you are doing and taking all the measures that you need in order to protect your citizens. First of all, to protect the tourists. Second of all, and to leave this country as a tourism country, because it is very famous for the whole world. And I hope you are taking all the measures you need in order to stop it.
What's the possibility of achieving real Middle East peace process?
I'm
in the
very
future?
optimistic to achieve one of these days a peace agreement between the Palestinians and the Israelis, because we have no choice, and we have to live one next to the other, and we prefer to live in peace between the two peoples. So, as I said, I'm very optimistic.
Do you get the schedule date of the first round of talk with Egypt in the middle?
Well, we are in the middle of a process, and it will take time. I'm not saying that it is very easy. And Egypt is a very important country for us in order to be a mediator between the Palestinians and the Israelis. We have a peace agreement with Egypt, which is lasting for many years. And this is a good example of how to make peace between two countries who were fighting each other. So I think that it will take time, but as I said, I'm very optimistic, and you will achieve one of these days a peace with the Palestinians.
The outcome of this war, do you think it has actually strengthened Hamas because it now has joined hand with Palestinian, with President Mahmoud Abbas, and it may increase the weight of Hamas with Palestine?
I don't think so. I think Hamas had a big blow in this cycle of violence. And I believe that, as I said, when they will come out from their tunnels and from their shelters up to the surface, they will see the destruction and what happened to the people of Gaza. They will think differently, and this is a good opportunity. From this war might come a good opportunity to start a new cycle of talks between the Palestinians and the Israelis. And I hope they will understand that there is only one way to talk to each other.
You come to Thailand. How do you see prospect of closer cooperation between Israel and Thailand in terms of bilateral relations?
Well, there are a very good bilateral relationship between Thailand and Israel. Just to mention, 150,000 tourists from Israel coming every year to Thailand. And we are a very small country, as you know, not as big as you are. We are only 8 million people, and 150,000 is a very significant number of tourists who are coming to Thailand. This is a first thing. The economy between Thailand and Israel is very good. And I believe that we are on a solid basis of relationship between Thailand and Israel. And we would like to expand it as much as we can.
And what do you aim at expanding Israeli role in the region, like Asia Pacific, with China, with ASEAN?
We have a very good relationship with many countries in this region, with Japan, with China, with Korea, with India. And so we think this part of the world is very important to the world economy. 50% of the world economy is here in this region. And I believe that this region will be much more significant in the near future. And I think that we should focus on this part of the world, because this is the future of the world.
But right now, the image of Israel may not be very positive, especially for Thai workers or Thai labor who really want to work in Israel.
Well, I know that this circle of violence prevents from Thai workers to come to Israel, and some of them are afraid. But as far as I know, Thai workers are coming to Israel with thousands of Thai workers, and we would like to keep it that way. And with the Israeli ambassador, which are helping us in order to organize procedures in order to bring Thai workers to Israel. I think this is a good sign of relationship between Thailand and Israel.
How do you like the world community to recognize Israel?
I would like the world community to recognize Israel as a normal country. I'm not claiming that we are a perfect country, but we are a normal country. We are a genuine democracy in the region, which is a very tough neighborhood, and the world see sees what is happening in the Middle East, and we are an island of peaceful, good economy, and a good and genuine democracy in the region. And I would like the world to consider the state of Israel as a normal country.
And when do you think the world can see lasting truth or lasting peace between Israel and Palestine?
It's not depend on us as a state of Israel. It depends on the other side. And I hope the other side will understand that to fight with Israel will not help. And in order to fight, I would suggest them to sit around the table and negotiate and compromise. And both sides should compromise, and hopefully this is what they are going to do in the near future.
Thank you very much, Director General.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
เสียงสะท้อนจากท่านปลัดกระทรวงการต่างประเทศของอิสราเอลนะคะถึงกระบวนการสันติภาพที่จะเริ่มหลังจากที่สองฝ่ายประกาศตกลงหยุดยิงแล้วเวลาคร่าวๆก็น่าจะประมาณ1 เดือน ซึ่งก็หวังว่าจะนำไปสู่การพูดคุยหารือตกลงกันได้นะคะเพื่อนำไปสู่สิ่งที่ทั่วโลกอยากจะเห็นนะคะก็คือสันติภาพระหว่างอิสราเอลและปาเลสไตน์ค่ะทั้งหมดคือตอบโจทย์และที่นี่ไทย PBS สำหรับคืนนี้ค่ะดิฉันณัฐฐา โกมลวาทินสวัสดีค่ะ